I'm thrilled to introduce our next session, Draper James, analyzing the impact of SMS on the customer journey. We all know how much growth can come from SMS, and Draper James has advanced their SMS strategy to include customer segmentation, and they've seen some really great results. Joining us on the virtual stage are Elizabeth Ray, VP of Client Strategy at Attentive, and Helen Nightingale, VP of Ecommerce at Draper James. After this session, we have our coffee chat with speakers, and both Helen and Elizabeth will be there, along with our other day 3 speakers. Elizabeth, I will let you take it from here.
Amazing. Thank you, Veronica. We are very happy to be here, asked to attend once again, and congratulations on your final day of programming. It's been a great day so far. My name is Elizabeth Ray. I am VP of Client Strategy at Attentive. Very excited to be joined by one of our favorite clients and brands, of course. That's Helen Nightingale, VP of Ecommerce at Draper James. So before we get started, I do want to start with a little about Attentive. Back in 2016, Attentive launched its personalized text messaging platform, allowing brands to quickly build a list of SMS subscribers, send personalized text messages across the client lifecycle, and of course, effortlessly track revenue and ROI. Our team has grown to over 600 folks, employees across the entire US, and we have expanded hiring beyond our first headquarter, which was based in New York City. It does go without saying, we are incredibly proud to be trusted by over 2,000 brands, including Sephora, Coach, Urban Outfitters, Steve Madden, Jack in the Box, of course, Draper James, to drive billions of dollars in transactions through text messaging. And on average, Attentive is responsible for driving 18.5% of our customers' total online revenue. We only want to see that increase. And of course, to note, we did recently close our $230 million Series D with investors including Sequoia, Bain Capital Ventures, Co2, and IVP. And Alan, yes, slides should be up. Amazing. Didn't even realize they weren't. So a quick look at the agenda for today. For those of you who may be new to text messaging as a marketing channel, we are going to look at the data behind why retail and e-commerce brands should leverage SMS marketing this year. We will then take a look at consumer perspective on SMS and whether they want it. Spoiler alert, they do. And then what you all are waiting for, I will pass things over to Helen to discuss the advanced strategies that they've employed to help segment this channel and analyze, of course, the impact of SMS on the customer journey. And finally, we will leave you with some quick tips on how to prepare for what is next. Great. So why SMS marketing for 2021? Well, in 2020, we did see a massive acceleration of e-commerce. That is no surprise. By more than ever, consumers were completing online purchases via their smartphones. And by the end of this year, so 2021, mobile will make up nearly 75% of global e-commerce sales. So incredibly significant. And it does make sense that brands are turning to SMS as a direct marketing channel since mobile commerce has continued to increase year over year. To call out, if not super clear, text messaging is the most popular smartphone usage. And the results of the channel really do speak for themselves. SMS drives 10 times more revenue than email per message, and I come from email, so I can truly attest to this, with a 99% open rate and 30% click-through rates. And it is becoming a top revenue channel for many brands. So in 2020 alone, Attentive's platform generated over $4.5 billion in revenue for e-commerce brands. As the pandemic did cause, of course, many marketers to scale back on their previous priorities pre-COVID, there are some notable exceptions. So according to our hosts and the Commerce Next post-COVID survey that was conducted back in June of 2020, SMS is the only emerging technology that marketers indicated they plan to increase investment in. And that's, of course, because consumers want to hear from brands via text messaging, especially as they are confined to their homes and, of course, using mobile devices more than ever. And as e-commerce continues to increase, it does make sense that retailers and even the more traditional ones are reprioritizing resources towards online investment, really to make up for what's lost in declining store traffic. So, SMS is a huge opportunity for retail and e-commerce brands. Do consumers want it? Short answer is yes. So at the end of 2020, we did conduct a survey of 2,000 US consumers between the ages of 16 and 75, really to understand how they shop and what they want from brands. 75% indicated they shopped online more in 2020 than they did in 2019. And more consumers than ever are using their smartphones to complete online purchases. So when shopping online, over 56% said they primarily use their mobile device. 36.7, so close to 37%, use an equal mix of mobile and desktop. And then just a small fraction, just 6.7%, said they still continue to primarily use desktop. So let's see. Excuse me about that. So over 50% of the top 1,000 online retailers do use text messaging marketing compared to 4.5% in 2016. And we continue to see this number increase. And it's because, of course, consumers have signaled that they would like to receive text messaging. So over 90%, if we add that all up, of consumers would sign up for text messaging from the right brand. In 2020, we did see an increase in the number of consumers signing up for text from our own consumers and customers. And our recent survey did reveal that 67% have signed up to receive more text messaging from brands, so additional brands, over the past year. Our survey also revealed that consumers want to get text messaging from brands throughout the entire life cycle. So transactional updates, and that's order confirmation, shipping, and delivery updates, is the type of communication that consumers are most interested in receiving via text messaging. And that is followed by limited time promotions, product updates, new launches. So truly kind of SMS is not just about sending discounts. It truly is a two-way conversational channels that brands, of course, are capitalizing on to turn subscribers into shoppers and, of course, into brand loyalists. So that takes us to why we're here. There we go. So as more brands have started leveraging text messaging marketing and more consumers are signing up, it's of course becoming more critical to innovate and use more mature strategies. To discuss that, we of course have Helen here, and I will let her take over and share what Draper James has accomplished.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Happy to present with you guys as always. So for those who are not familiar, just a quick background, Draper James was founded by Reese Witherspoon, let's see, about 6 years ago at this point. We are primarily, a digitally native DTC brand, but we do have a brick and mortar presence as well, 3 brick and mortar locations. And yes, kind of trying to bring to life this, Southern lifestyle kind of as our heritage, but translate it to the national stage. So we have been partnering with Attentive for a little over a year, but we have kind of been involved in the SMS and conversational marketing space for the past several years. So really feel like it has been a very important growth channel for us, but kind of as we've, we're kind of getting ready to, go to the next level in the past year. And really, as our list was growing, felt the need to make more of it and kind of do it in a way that makes sense. I think Elizabeth spoke to the fact that customers are increasingly willing to sign up for text messages kind of from the right brand, but really what that means is they want to be receiving not only messages from the right brand, but the right messages. And I think that's where we felt like we had more opportunity to deliver a better experience and yes, kind of figure out what was the impact of this SMS experience on their journey. So to kind of tackle that, we really kind of have this segmentation approach that we consider pretty comprehensively. Certainly there are messages for, really key product launches, really key sales or promotions that we do want to make sure that our entire list receives. But in general, we've kind of tried to balance customer priorities and really protect the experience that they're getting by making sure that the messages that they are getting are relevant to them. I think it's a strategy that's in place across a lot of other digital marketing channels, but wanting to make sure that we have that same lens of personalization in the SMS space as well. There's, kind of other logistical reasons why this makes sense for us. We do want to protect people from unsubscribing so that we can maintain a healthy list size. And then, transparently as a marketer, ROAS is kind of like baked in here, as well as having an impact. When our list was a little bit smaller, we kind of felt like Attentive and SMS was, a lower cost channel, almost like a little bit of an afterthought. But obviously, as the list has grown, what's great is that we do need to leverage it in a more strategic way to make sure our costs kind of aren't ballooning there. So definitely a bunch of different reasons why we wanted to dive into segmentation in the past year. So to kind of talk through a couple of examples of segments that we are leveraging and creating, not exhaustive, but basically focused on customer behavior, but different kind of components of it. So certainly there's, past transaction behavior. So kind of this example here of purchase during a specific sale. If we know that we're repeating that event or repeating a similar event, we have a special message for those people. And kind of same thing goes for past product purchases as well. If we're like launching their favorite sweatshirt, for example, in a new color, we would want to tell them about that, as we recently did. And then, on the flip side, kind of also looking at their engagement and behavior with, text messages themselves. Are they, obviously we can't know if they're opening them, but are they clicking on them? Are they finding that engaging channel and then kind of purchasing off of them as well? So kind of have those engagement focused segments that really have allowed us, I think, to hit a sweet spot for, some of these messages that are not maybe quite as relevant to the full audience. I think we've really kind of started to hit our stride there in terms of the balance of list size and revenue from a ROAS perspective. There's kind of site behavior that we're able to segment on. So if they have shown interest, even if they haven't kind of purchased specific products, if they've shown interest in certain sets of products, able to address them based on that. And then geo-targeted information and kind of loyalty information as well, based on, again, kind of their past purchases and where we think they're located.
Cool. And I know we're going to bring this to life a little bit more.
Yes. So here's kind of some examples of text that we've sent to our highly engaged audiences. And again, here we're noting that these are messages that, maybe the kind of casual Draper James customer doesn't care quite as much about, but, for someone who really focuses on this brand and engages with this brand frequently, these are messages they're going to be more excited about. So to kind of use the example on the far left with the limited edition nature of this sweatshirt, a casual customer might not be as interested in the fact, they might not be as familiar, I should say, with the fact that we do have this kind of best-selling product, and therefore a limited edition colorway may not speak to them in the same way as someone who is, more engaged and has seen this product and probably even owns this product. Many of our customers do. The middle example, being realistic that if someone has not purchased with us in the past and isn't really kind of engaging with our SMS channel, they're unlikely to suddenly kind of in a last minute Christmas present purchase focus on Draper James. They're probably going to instead focus on retailers that they know and have interacted with before. So thinking about how that messaging kind of ties into that customer interaction. I want to do kind of a little pop out here, but definitely related to hyper segmentation. So we ran this pilot program over the holiday season that was kind of a gift concierge, as with many other brands, with our brick and mortar stores being heavily impacted by the pandemic and kind of seeing foot traffic and customers in-store shopping behavior really change in the past year. We want to make sure that we're leveraging our stores in kind of the best way possible. So with our integration between Attentive and kind of our customer service platform, we're able to connect customers directly with store associates via text message to kind of curate gift collections for someone who's maybe struggling to find the right thing. So, it's a little bit of an out of the box use case, I would say, but it's something that we're actually looking to further expand this year as we kind of try to establish ourselves more as a gifting destination. So I think that really speaks to the fact that customers, can use texting in really kind of the two-way capacity that they normally do, I guess, kind of within their normal conversational texting, and trying to bring that to life and harness that in our marketing capacity as well for a brand.
Exactly. We love examples like this. And I think you kind of mentioned you're just scratching the surface, but in terms of that two-way, building trust with a brand and truly interacting in ways in which consumers expect to be, engaged with over text messaging, this is such a good example. And sometimes, we can brand that as a concierge, kind of picking styles selected for you. Truly just understanding that, this is such an immediate and personalized channel and leveraging that.
Yeah, exactly. Then kind of for our loyalty members, specifically giving them kind of the warm feeling of recognizing that they are super valuable to us and we're very grateful for them, but then kind of giving them this exclusive access to, various product launches as well. I think this example on the far left here is really interesting. It looks like this is a slightly different one, but we intend to give customers who are loyal, certainly first access, but then we kind of have specifically carved out a niche of customers who are very loyal, but also engaged on SMS, and really have actually started to give them first access to, even shorter events where we know that things are going to sell out, things like that. So it's a strategy that we leveraged in December. We're leveraging again later this month. So because text messages are a very kind of immediate thing. You see it pop up and you kind of act on it right away. It can be a great way to, you're having a very short-term promotion or something that's going to be very limited edition, a really good way to kind of immediately communicate with a customer. And again, because we have these brick and mortar stores and want to make sure we're using them effectively and speaking to customers within those markets, we send a lot of geo-targeted messages as well. We used to send them about in-store events when that was a thing, and kind of making sure that people knew that their favorite book author was kind of in-store doing a signing, or that, the new kind of collection had just arrived in store, and inviting them to come have some champagne and shop. Obviously, that's changed a little bit given the scope of the stores right now, but we did kind of message some of these private shopping opportunities for local in-store customers in the past year as well. So we do a little bit of this kind of, I guess, some of these examples are really focused on kind of post-purchase and some of these triggered moments that you would traditionally find certainly in an email program, and kind of translating that to the SMS space as well. I think we have a lot more work to do here, and I'm really excited about it in the next year. I feel like we know a lot about some of these customers, kind of especially once they make a purchase. So how can we be re-engaging them based on what we know? So thinking, for example, to go back to this, Natalie sweatshirt as a best-selling product example, we really want to be focusing on building out a whole flow for customers who are experiencing the brand for the first time through that product. And then, we have data behind what they're very likely to purchase next, when they're likely to do it, things like that. So kind of leaning into those moments the way that you quite often would in email, again, and translating that to SMS creative as well.
Exactly.
So certainly, yes, the results have been quite strong. And I think in particular, we think of both the conversion and the ROAS as super impactful here. So when we are sending relevant messages to relevant people, seeing that conversion rate, exceed, be 20% or plus higher versus our kind of standard, just send it to everyone list. So again, really feeling like we're getting, frankly, a lot for our investment within this channel. And I think kind of the hidden thing here is how this compares to engagement within email, if we kind of compare those lists as well. So for us, we see, let's say I have my notes here, given kind of the engagement impact of when we're doing this kind of heavily segmented SMS approach, we ultimately see the kind of revenue per send for one of these segmented text messages as compared to an email 32 times higher, which sounds like a made up number, but is, really strong. So we continue to feel good about that. And I think, yes, we're continuing to figure out what our sweet spot really is between not kind of segmenting too much and making sure we're getting too small here, but still capturing revenue in a really effective way. So we're excited to continue that journey.
As are we.
So I think, yes, lots of this we've touched on, but wanting to make sure that as our list is growing, we're really being more effective at collecting information about customers and then acting on it in a way that we're speaking to them in a really effective way. I think we're excited to continue partnering with Attentive to learn more about customers' preferences that are maybe not fully behavior-based, so things that are a little bit harder to pick up on. Some of this keyword thing, I think I'm very excited about. So long-term, the vision being that we're able to ask customers specifically in real time, like basically, what are you interested in, and serve them content based on that. So for instance, if it's August and we're launching our fall collection, but some people, live in the South where it still is 110 degrees, asking them, are you interested right now in this kind of brand new fall product, or are you interested in shopping for summer styles on sale? Figuring out what their answer is, serving them content that's relevant to that, but then also kind of banking their responses to create segmentation off of down the road as well. So fingers crossed that's kind of our next frontier.
I think so. And certainly we're incredibly impressed and proud of this relationship, the maturity and growth, but there's so much more opportunity. I'm getting a warning for time. We will be able to answer questions in the coffee chat portion. But for everybody on the line, do want to say that we have also put together notes from this session, and you can access them by visiting our booth. So you can scan this code or you can email our events team. And the notes even include an interactive calculator to help you determine just how much revenue you can see by implementing SMS marketing. And we're also doing a special phone soap device giveaway. So definitely schedule a meeting, learn more, see a demo, hear from brands and folks like Helen. And again, thank you all for being here, and thank you so much to Helen.
Thanks, guys.